Hey cruisers, it's Friday, August 6th, 2021. I've got some financial news on two cruise lines. One is going to be on the Royal Caribbean, and then the other is going to be on NCL. But before we get to that, let me bring you some updated news with Princess Cruises and the vaccination policy. This has been updated as of August 5th, 2021. So, this is if you are 100% vaccinated. And that means that if you have the two-shot vaccination, the second shot has to be completed at least 14 days prior to departure. So let me read you what it says right off of the website. Okay, this is under their vaccination and testing requirements. It says, vaccinated cruises are available for guests who have received their final dose of an approved COVID-19 vaccine at least 14 days prior to the beginning of the cruise and have proof of vaccination. Proof. Guests will be asked to confirm their status as fully vaccinated for COVID-19 and provide proof of vaccination in advance of boarding. It's important for guests to come prepared, as those who arrive at the embarkation terminal without the proper proof of vaccination will not be able to cruise, and no refund will be issued. All right, you guys, no refund. So no ands if or buts. You need to be on top of this stuff. So whether it's Princess, Carnival, Norwegian, Celebrity, any one of the cruise lines, you're going to want to go to their website. Gosh, now I'm going to say on a daily basis, really, and take a look at their vaccination protocols just to make sure that you're going to stay current. Okay, so let me read what else it has to say here. Guests must present proof of vaccination as well as all required travel documents at embarkation. Acceptable proof of vaccination must be in the form of the original vaccination record document issued by the country's health authority that administered the vaccination. So that means the CDC vaccination record card or something like that. The name and birth date on the vaccination record must match the guest's travel documents and show that the guest is fully vaccinated. So, guys, on this, I know sometimes we end up using our shorter name, Chuck instead of Charles, Dick instead of Richard, things like that. Make sure that you use your full proper name on all of your documents, just so they match up. You don't want to get to that to the port of embarkation and have them question and say, well, it says Charles and it says Chuck here. We're not going to accept that. So make sure you use your proper name, okay, on all of your documents. All right, so let me go ahead and continue reading this. It says the name and birth date on the vaccination record must match the guest's travel documents and show that the guest is fully vaccinated. This means that the guest has completed the full cycle of required doses for the vaccine administered. Meaning that if you have, again, the 2-dose vaccine, you have to have had that second dose, which constitutes 100% being vaccinated, at least 14 days prior to your embarkation date. I wouldn't cut it at 14 days. I would make sure that I give myself a couple of days, but at least 14 days before embarkation. So that's before your departure. And that the guest has received the final dose at least 14 days prior to sailing. That's what I was just saying. Now, there's more, actually. So it says, alternatively, guests may present a digital COVID-19 certificate, QR codes are accepted, and a record of the COVID-19 vaccination from a healthcare provider with the original digital email accepted. So personal electronic health record or government immunization information system record. So they're being very, very specific about all this. Okay, and it further goes to say that we recommend you have the contact information, email and phone number immediately available of the healthcare provider or clinic site that issued this certificate in order to validate the vaccination if needed. So there's more, definitely more. So keep those phone numbers handy and the email address of like they said, wherever it is that you got your approved vaccination, keep that information handy just in case they need to reach out to them just to verify something. My thought is, again, if it's a little skewed on the date of birth thing, hopefully that doesn't happen, or you're using a nickname type of thing, a short name. So make sure you have the provider's email and phone number immediately available. Okay. Now, there is something else. And again, this is for all of us who are fully vaccinated. Okay. Princess, we will also require all fully vaccinated guests to produce a negative medically observed viral COVID-19 test. That's the PCR or the antigen test, taken within 3 days of their embarkation on all Princess sailings. Now, this means it doesn't matter that you're fully vaccinated, but you now must do that additional test, and it has to be within 3 days of your embarkation. And once again, you must provide proof that you did that. Okay? So, guests who received a vaccination exemption are still required to take the negative PCR test within 3 days prior to embarkation and will be tested again in the terminal prior to boarding the ship and again within 24 hours of debarkation for itineraries of 5 days or longer. Unvaccinated guests will continue to be charged $150 per person for testing and administration fees. So there's a lot, you guys. So pay attention. Go to the website of whoever you're cruising with and always be informed about the updated policies for vaccination. Okay, so there you have it. That's for Princess. So now let's continue and let's go on to some financial stuff. All right, so first up is going to be with Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. And when I say financials, I'm not talking about for stocks and things like that or for anybody who's looking at investment. I just wanted to give you some information that came from the CFO. His name is Jason Liberty. He's the Executive Vice President and CFO of Royal Caribbean. So this information is just to give us a feeling of, gosh, how full do these ships need to be in order for Caribbean, Royal Caribbean, to try to be at a break-even point and not continue to lose money, because we don't want that to happen. Again, according to Jason Liberty, what needs to happen is on the newer, larger ships, they need to be at about a 35% capacity in order for the cruise line to break even on that particular ship and itinerary. Now, for the older and smaller ships, according to him, they need to be closer to that 50% mark as far as being capacity driven and as far as for a break-even point. Now, when they say older, newer, I'm not really sure what he's talking about. It's probably, I'm going to say that the older, smaller ships, the ones that are around 2,500 and below, you're looking at, you need to be at the 50% capacity or possibly a little bit higher, but their break-even is at approximately 50%. And then the larger ships, we're talking anything above that, because we know nowadays these ships will hold 6,000 people. So for those, you're looking at about a 35% capacity for the berths in order for the cruise line to break even. Next up, I have some information from Norwegian Cruise Line. And this was a press release from today, Friday, August 6, 2021. Let me read to you what it says. It says that on August 6, 2021, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited, New York Stock Exchange ticker is NCLH. Together with NCL Corporation Limited, that's Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, or Norwegian the company, today reported financial results for the second quarter ended June 30, 2021, and provided a business update. Last week, we reached a historical milestone in our great cruise comeback with the successful commencement of our relaunch with the first ship in our fleet, Norwegian Jade, sailing the Greek Isles. Tomorrow, that'll be Saturday, August 7th, tomorrow will mark our first cruise in the United States in over 500 days as Norwegian Encore sets sail from Seattle to Alaska, said Frank Del Rio. He's the president and CFO of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited. Now, this is a quote. As we recommence operations, we are putting health and safety at the forefront with our robust, science-backed, safe sail, trademark, safe sail, health and safety program, including our 100% vaccination policy that applies across all voyages on all of our 3 brands. We are ready and eager to welcome guests back on board and continue to see incredible strength in our booking trends for future cruises. Our team is working tirelessly to execute on our plan to return our full fleet to operation by April 2022 to capitalize on this unparalleled pent-up demand. So, he is right. There are a lot of pent-up people. We all want to be out there and traveling, especially on cruise ships. So let's hope everything gets back on track. Under the press release, this is what they say about the health and safety. The company is committed to protecting the health and safety of its guests, crew, and communities visited and has developed Safe Sail, a robust, science-backed health and safety program which creates multiple layers of protection against COVID-19. The Safe Sail Health and Safety Program is informed by expert guidance from the Health Sail Panel and the company's Safe Sail Global Health and Wellness Council, however you want to say it. As part of this program, all voyages will operate with fully vaccinated guests and crew, in addition to comprehensive Safe Sail protocols, which include universal COVID-19 testing prior to embarkation. The company's 100% vaccination policy applies across all voyages on its 3 brands, as it believes this is the safest way to resume cruising in the current global public health environment. These measures will be continuously evaluated and modified as science and technology evolves. So, with Norwegian Cruise Lines, the foreseeable near future, if that's what we want to say, you have to be vaccinated before you go on their cruise. So that is across all of their brands, all of their sailings. There's no ands if or buts on that. It certainly doesn't sound like it to me on that. Let me just read a little bit more to what it says from the press release. And this is on the resumption of the cruise operations. The company has announced its phased relaunch plans for all 28 ships across the 3 brands, which began with Norwegian Jade on July 25, 2021, and continues through April 1st, 2022. The first cruise to commence in the United States is scheduled on August 7, 2021, with Norwegian Encore sailing to Alaska from Seattle. The company expects to have approximately 40% of its fleet capacity operating by the end of the third quarter of 2021, and approximately 75% by year end of 2021, with the full fleet expected to be back in operation by April 1st of 2022. Let's hope that's not going to be an April Fool's Day. So, the company's current plan include a restart of operations from Florida beginning August 15, 2021 aboard Norwegian Gem sailing from Miami. The company has been unable to reach a mutually agreeable solution with the state of Florida that would allow it to require documentation confirmation or confirming guests' vaccination status prior to boarding cruises from Florida. As such, the company has asked the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida to invalidate Florida's prohibition, and to grant a preliminary injunction to allow the company to resume sailing in the safest way possible with stringent health and safety protocols to minimize, to the greatest extent possible, further spread of COVID-19. So we all have been hearing, what's been going on with the state of Florida and cruising and everything else. The state of Florida says businesses, you cannot ask or you cannot require patrons, people, to provide proof that you've been vaccinated. That is illegal and we will not allow it. Well, here we are. cruise lines have been battling that. Cruise lines have been doing their best to follow CDC guidelines. They've been doing their best to do everything possible to bring this back to the masses in the safest way possible. And what they are finding to be the safest way possible is to ask each and every one of us to provide proof that we've either been vaccinated 100% or that we provide proof that we have taken the PCR or the antigen test within 72 hours prior to embarkation. Honestly, folks, that's not asking a lot, especially just to say we need proof that you took this test to make sure that you are free of the COVID virus within 72 hours of boarding our ship. That's for the safety of everyone, crew, guests, and for ourselves, because we don't want to get sick and be out at sea or stuck in a foreign country. So we have to do our part. We need to do our part to help out the cruise line. A hearing on the motion for preliminary injunction is scheduled for today. That's Friday, August 6th of 2021, and the company hopes to receive additional clarity shortly on its path forward to resume sailing from Florida. The ruling has no impact on sailings outside of Florida, where the company's policy of 100% vaccination of guests and crew is in place without issue in every other port it sails from around the world. All right, there it is. That's, the Caribbean, Miami. That's like probably one of the world's largest ports of call for cruising, going into the Caribbean. So, gosh, Florida, you might be messing some things up, but that's just my opinion. Anyhow, that's it for today, guys. I thought it was going to be much shorter, but I hope this was good information for you. Please like, comment, and share, and please follow my channel. I am doing my best to bring you information, and hopefully it's good information. I'm still low on count. I would certainly like to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I am not even 1/10 of the way there. So again, please help me do that. Please help me reach the goal, and I would do my best to provide you with updated information. All right, well, lunchtime is about over for me. It's time for me to get back to other work. So long, have a great day.